We would like to proclaim to you that you've lived enough life, you've reacted to enough experience, that you have managed to create a vibrational reality that, while it has not manifested, it exists and is real and is working for you. It's there for you, and you can sense it and feel it, even though you may not yet be able to see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, and touch it. And because you're human, that's a good thing. Because you're human, you focus mostly on what you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch. So you don't get too excited about sensing something that's in the becoming. If you were in your field and you had tilled your soil, which you're doing all the time with the life experience that you're living, and you plant your kernel of corn in your fertile field, as soon as you put it in the ground, you don't say, I'm waiting. You don't say, okay, I'll give you 10 minutes. You don't stomp on the ground impatiently, because you understand that there is a gestation process. You understand that there is a process, and you know that you've put it there, and as you're tending to it, it will do what it naturally does. It will produce a stalk. It will produce ears of corn. It will produce what you want it to, but there is a process that it will undergo. And in that situation, you are not impatient about it, because you have a certain understanding from what you've witnessed. And yet, with your kernels and seeds that you've put into your vortex, that's what we call your vibrational reality, your vortex of creation, this vibrational atmosphere that contains all the rockets of desire that you've launched, this vibrational place where your inner being stands, the part of you that existed before your birth and still exists, aware of you, non-physically focused. This vibrational reality is like the womb in the mother's belly. It's like the petri dish where something is in the process of becoming. It is a reality that is in such pre-manifestational form that your senses, you see, what you see with your eyes is just a vibrational interpretation, and that vibration has to be pretty significant before most humans are able to interpret it vibrationally. In other words, this reality that feels so real to you is your vibrational interpretation. But because you've been doing it always, you don't say, oh, I'm interpreting vibration and therefore I see this, or I'm interpreting vibration and therefore I smell this. You mostly don't even consider the fact that you vibrationally interpret things different than other species around you. Your dog vibrationally interprets things, so therefore can smell things that you can't or wouldn't want to smell. And you don't say, stop it, you little faker. You accept that the dog is onto something. And so we want you to know that you can be onto things like your dog is onto things. You can get better at vibrationally interpreting things so that you can, we all vibrationally interpreted that. You can get good at vibrationally interpreting things that are in your vortex by using other senses other than your 5 physical senses. You can feel it in your solar plexus. You can understand it with your emotional guidance system. You can know something before you see it. You can sense it before you see it. You can trust it before you see it. You can believe it before you see it. You can believe it by showing yourself, by paying attention to how you feel, and then noticing the manifestational results. There are 2 ways of knowing how you're doing vibrationally. There are 2 ways of knowing what you are vibrationally accomplishing. One is by the way it feels, and the other is by how it manifests. The manifestation we call post-awareness, post-manifestational. It manifested and then you saw it. Good for you. But what about it being a vibrational manifestation and you being like your dog that can sniff things out even before it shows up? That dog knows what's in the bushes before it gets over there and digs it up. The dog knows where the bone is buried, and not just because he left it there. Often because he left it there, but not only. And so we just want you to be more aware of what you've got going on. We want you to know that you were source energy before you came into these bodies, and that that source energy part of you still exists non-physically, and that that source energy part of you is aware of you here and now and in all moments in time. And that source energy part of you, we call it your inner being. Sometimes you call it God. We call it your inner being, your inner consciousness, your inner awareness. Sometimes you call it your soul. But it's this non-physical, loving source energy part of you who knows, and this is key, who knows where you stand in terms of your creation in relationship or relative to what you've launched vibrationally and what is in the process of becoming. And there is always more wonderful stuff in the process of becoming, because your life is setting it up. When you don't like something, you ask for an improvement, even if you don't use your words. When you're rude, you want to be nicer. When someone else is rude, you want them to be nicer. When you don't have enough of something you need, you ask for it. When you have something you don't want, you ask for the healing or the improvement. You have a vibrational reality of wonderful stuff that is available to you, so much more readily available to you than you mostly allow yourself to let it be, because you want to see it before you believe it, and that's what's hanging you up. You got to sense it, you got to trust it, and that's why we are here, to help you know about the laws of the universe, to appeal to your reasoning powers, to understand that there must be something more than what you see in your physical bodies that this world is about. You're brilliant and you're beautiful, but the whole bunch of you haven't managed to scrape a bunch of earth together and launch another planet into orbit. There's way more going on than what you are translating with your physical senses, and we want you to get in on that. We want you to feel the whole power of who you are. We want you to be your total being, your total self. We want you to tune yourself to the frequency of who you really are. And that doesn't mean we want you to leave your physicality. That does not mean that we want you to leave your relationship with contrast. It doesn't mean that we want nothing to ever go wrong for you. We like that. Boom, boom, boom. We like things going wrong for you, because that's the contrast that helps you to personally identify your unique and important preference. So we like these conversations. It's a wonderful thing when we can co-create like this. You've come here, we see you've dragged your physical bodies here. That's good. You're doing good. But your inner beings have also come. And collectively, we are going to have a wonderful conversation here today. What you're going to notice as this day unfolds is that impulses and insights are going to occur to you that you usually don't get. You're tuning to your higher frequency, and as you become more and more the vibrational equivalent to who you really are, you're what we call tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And that means you are in the receptive mode where questions will be clearer, answers that we are offering will make more sense to you. A question will bring an answer, which will bring another question. That's what the co-creation at its best is. We know you've come with some things on your mind, and we'll get to all of them. You will experience that as the day goes forward. But what you're also going to experience is the expansion of thought, as a question brings an answer, brings a question, brings an answer, brings a question, brings an answer, brings a question, brings an answer. Sometimes you'll sit here and bring an answer. You're tuned in, tapped in, turned on too. So what do you want to talk about now? All right. Oh, there's a lot of trouble in this room. This is going to be a wonderful day. Begin right here.